The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, and IDIS High Definition Surveillance Systems. Hello and welcome to the IDIS Superlights Challenge powered by Pirelli, the championship for sports cars and sports prototypes, where low weight and advanced aerodynamics mean close racing and high speeds. The two classes, Group 1 and Group 2, arrived at a sunny Zolder circuit for the second round of the season. We'll bring you a full report of both their races, and we'll take a look at the role of aerodynamics in the CN prototypes. But first, we'll kick off with the first race on Sunday morning. In the IDIS Superlights Challenge, two races are held on one day, a 30-minute sprint and a 60-minute enduro with a mandatory pit stop. Fastest in qualifying for both races in Group 1, Belgium's Sam de Jong and Luc de Kock with their Norma M20 FC. After technical woes at Zandvoort in the first race weekend, Deldish Racing is clearly now the team to beat on their home track.
Ja, ik denk van wel. Gisteren was ik wel goed op weg, dus mijn persoonlijk beste tijd dat ik hier al gereden heb.
Yesterday our pace was really good, said Sam. I set my personal best lap time, and that was with traffic as well. I think I can improve by about 0.3 of a second maybe. I'm really keen to get into the 28s. Nobody's got in there yet, not with this kind of car anyway. Second fastest, Bascalton Racing's Wolf GB08 with Jörg Schumacher, the German again, teamed up with very fast Dutchman Joey van Splunteren. And Joey was a guest driver, but they still won the second race at Zandvoort, so they'll be eager to repeat that here. Jörg Schumacher, though, will do the sprint race on his own. It's a single driver event. It's an all-Radical Row 2. Danny Brand starts third with the Radical SR8, sharing this weekend with Pim van Riet, and they were just a 10th second faster than their teammate Donald Milner with the brand new Radical RXE Spider, still under development. That's an impressive qualifying result. The second RXE Spider starts from row 3, Englishman James Abbott behind the wheel, first time out here at Zolder. And sixth is Tim Josen with the Tartus from Ichiban Racing. Philippe de Klerk will lead the Group 2 field away in his green and white Norma M20F after the warm-up lap, and they're going to need to warm their tyres properly early in the morning here. It might be sunny, but the tarmac is cold. So Sam de Jonge on pole ahead of Jörg Schumacher's black and gold Wolf, then the Radicals, Danny Brandt, Donald Molenaar, James Abbott, then Tim Josen in the Tartus. On board with Jörg Schumacher outside the front row of the grid. Waiting for the lights to change, away they go then. The Radicals jockeying from position, both looking to the inside. Jörg Schumacher on the wide outside line, holds off Donald Molenaar. Tim Josen has already moved up from 6th to 4th position, and through on the inside goes Donald Molenaar into Sternbach-Bocht. He takes second place. Jörg Schumacher under pressure. Looks like he hasn't got his tyres very warm on the formation lap. He's got Tim Josen right behind him as they come on the run down to the chicane. This could be danger time for him. Leader starting to pull away already, Sam de Jong, but look at the battle for third place. The two dark cars, Josen down the inside, the green and white Norma as well down the inside. Philippe Leclerc moving ahead of Danny Brand, who started on row 2 of the grid as he takes 6th position. We rode on board there with Jörg Schumacher losing third to Tim Josen. So Josen the first of the black cars, then Jörg Schumacher, then the blue car, James Abbott's Radical RXE Spider, then de Klerk, leading in Group 2 as Sam de Jong rushes away in that white Norma. Battle for third place again under brakes. Schumacher shows his nose, no chance to get through there, just not quite enough of a run into the Jackie Ick chicane. Onto the start-finish line they come. Right behind him again, James Abbott. See the blue car pulling out as the black car does as well. Abbott can't go down the inside into Eerste Linkse, but Schumacher can. Wheel to wheel through the gravel goes Josen. Well, they were as close as that at Zandvoort. Great racing. Josen hanging on. Was there contact? No, just a little lock up on the inside. Josen had to open the steering a little, ran through the gravel, dropped from 3rd to 5th. With all that going on behind, Sam de Jong rushing away, still trying to get down into the 28s, beat his personal best lap time around the track, but it seems a little less grippy than Saturday. And here is Donald Molinar, Jörg Schumacher, James Abbott. That's 2, 3 and 4. Radical, Wolf and Radical. Tim Jossen back in 5th in his Tartus. He moves up to 4th place towards the end of the race as Donald Molinar runs into mechanical woes. And he is soon bringing the Radical back in.
Ja, het moet ergens bij de start gebeurd zijn.
It happened somewhere on the start of the warm-up lap, he said. I'm not quite sure what went wrong, but we had stones, punctures in the radiator. After the first lap, the temperature started to go up. Lap 2, the warning lights went on. So I started short shifting, keeping the revs low to try and make it to the finish, and that was going all right. Let my teammate get by. Together, I think we could have both been on the podium. That was our goal, to get the RXC Spiders on the podium. So I let James Abbott go by. But 3 or 4 laps before the end, temperature just soared and the CPU shut the engine down for safety, so that was it. Sam de Jong then claims his first race win of the season, 1 minute and 4 seconds ahead of James Abbott, with Tim Jossen in 3rd place, one of the Radicals at least on the podium. Jörg Schumacher dropped to 5th after spinning the Wolf. But finally, after the troubles at Zandvoort, a win for Luc de Kock and Sam de Jong. Sam saying, at Zandvoort we had double pole 2. We didn't do very well because of technical problems. We've had plenty of time to fix those, of course, and clearly it's much better. So I hope we can improve the car even more.
Ja, hier gaat het gewoon stukken beter, dus hopelijk kunnen we dat serieus voortzetten.
Pole position for Philippe de Klerk with a green and white Norma M20F. He was challenging the Group 1 cars in the opening stages of the race, but towards the second corner, Sterrenwacht bocht. Carlo Kaya in the Praga attacked for the lead on the inside over the grass. De Klerk not able to give him any more room. Kaya spins, and David Hotoft in the blue Norma Carnivore clattering into the Praga. Both, unfortunately, are out of the short sprint race.
Die sprintrace, het is hartstikke mooi, hartstikke leuk, maar je gaat net wat meer risico's
Well, the sprint race format is fantastic, but you have to take more risks. As soon as the lights go out, you're on. So you've got to try and overtake in places where maybe there's not really that much room. And so these things can happen. I'm really sorry for the guys that had damage or dropped out of the race. That was not my intention, but in the heat of battle, you're just thinking about trying to win it. Philippe de Klerk won the first sprint race of the season at Zandvoort and now looks to be heading towards win number 2 as he opens up a big lead. Battle for 3rd as Wiebo Rademacher dive bombs the purple SR3 of Wim Uris in the latest SR3 RSX. Rademacher setting the fastest lap here. He was the winner of the 2nd race at Zandvoort. But in 2nd place is Paul Celius in his Praga R1, setting the 2nd fastest lap time after struggling early on to get heat into the tyres. Rademacher giving chase all the way as Philippe de Klerk motors on to win number 2 of the season. Paul Celius close behind him, but again 2nd, just as he was in Zandvoort. We missed out by 2 or 3 seconds, he said. Over the radio, the team said I was doing similar lap times to Philippe de Klerk. So who knows what would have happened if I hadn't been held up at the start. There was a crash right in front of me. My teammate spun, so I had 2 options. Brake and go around him or hit him. I think the best option was avoid the accident, but I lost time and lost touch with the race leader then and there. Second race of the day is the 60-minute Enduro. After the break, we report on that encounter and we take a closer look at the aerodynamics of the CN prototypes. Stay with us. The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, and IDIS High Definition Surveillance Systems. Welcome back to the second round of the IDIS Superlights Challenge, the championship for fast and highly sophisticated sports cars and sports prototypes. Coming up, a look at the second race of the weekend, but first we go behind the scenes to learn a little more about aerodynamics. The CN prototypes in the Superlights Challenge stand out because of the enormous downforce they generate. The engines and tyres are all the same, so the chassis manufacturers have to maximise their aerodynamics. like this Tartus, again being run by the Belgian Ichiban racing team. Tim Yosten says if you take a closer look at the nose, you'll see the same sort of shape as modern single-seaters. Tartus have put a lot of time and effort into optimising the aerodynamics under the car and the airflow from front to back. Looking at the other CN prototypes, it's got an aerodynamic advantage, just like the Wolf has. It's a great car to drive with high downforce. But that does mean that every little setup change has a major effect. Also, any mechanical change also has a big effect on the aerodynamics. So you have to pay attention to every tiny detail. That's not always a good thing, perhaps, but she really does look great, doesn't she?
Het is niet altijd een voordeel, maar hij ziet er wel gewoon fantastisch uit. Hè?
Well, the Tartus looks good and generates great downforce in standard trim, but the adjustments you can make with the wings are remarkably limited. Well, you can change the angle of the front and the rear wings, and that's basically it. But of course, you can change everything on the suspension. Changing the ride height has a huge impact on the aerodynamics, so it's important to be really on top of that. You've got to have the right people working on the car to gather all the data, have all the knowledge to set the car up perfectly. Well, the Tartus is up against another Italian CN prototype, Bascouten Racing's Wolf GB08.
Het is de bodemplaat. Bij een prototype is het voornamelijk de bodemplaat.
The key to these cars is the floor. With these kind of prototypes, that's the most important area for generating downforce. If you look at the car, it's got a flat floor from the front to the rear. It's lower at the front, higher at the rear, and that separation of the airflow, together with the diffuser and the splitter, makes the car stick to the road. Plus, there's other elements, the side pods, the nose, the wishbones. Everything is shaped to generate downforce. The angle and even the kind of metal of the wishbone has been thoroughly thought out to generate better aerodynamics. It's all the details that add up. That's the key with these prototypes. This season, Radical have staked their latest weapon, the RXC Spider, against the rest of the field. The car was launched to compete against the well-developed CN rivals, but also against their own Radical SR8. And to do so, aerodynamically, everything needs to be perfect in every detail.
Aerodynamisch heeft hij meer dan 9.
Aerodynamically, it generates over 900 kilos of downforce. That's much more than the other cars in Group 1. But to compensate for that, we have more horsepower. The car's still in development, but if you look at the calculations, we should be very competitive. That'd be great. The other cars are further along in their development, though, so we've still got plenty of things to work out to make the car better, and that should make us competitive with everyone else. Just like the Tartus, the Radical RXC has a high front end and striking horizontal wings between the wheel arches and the nose.
Ja, want zeker met dit circuit op Zolder, waar je toch een...
Especially here at Zolder, where you've got lots of slow corners, followed by very fast corners, the dive planes generated much needed extra grip at the front to stop the understeer. That gives you higher cornering speeds. That's what makes these cars great in general, low weight and high downforce. The only thing that matters really is a high entry speed to the corners, so you've got an even better exit speed for the following straight and the next corner. The Radical RXCs performed well in the first race with a second place for Englishman James Abbott. Unfortunately, Donald Molinar won't start race 2 with his Radical XRC, the red car. After the radiator was damaged, he'll have to start from the back with an SR8 supplied by Radical Benelux. But when the warm-up lap starts, disaster strikes the RXC of James Abbott too. He should be fourth on the grid for the 60-minute Enduro, but he can't get the car to go from neutral into first gear no matter what he tries. He's pushed off the grid. Radical UK have their work cut out to try and sort the problem out. James will have to start from the pit lane anyway. By the time they've fixed the problem, he's 2 laps down. As they said, the car is still in the early stages of development. So ready to go then for the 1 hour Enduro 2-driver race with pit stops. Sam de Jong from York Schumacher, Pim van Riet, and the gap where James Abbott would have been. Them Tim Josen and Philippe de Klerk heading the Group 2 field from Carlo Kaya and Paul Celias in their Pragas. Red lights are on. And away we go. You heard York Schumacher falter there because the lights hadn't changed. So too did the poleman. He's going to lose the lead. Pim van Riet dives inside. Tim Josen takes second. Schumacher trying to get third. He drifts out wide. There is Philippe de Klerk in the Group 2 car. He takes 4th place overall in his green and white Norma, and he's looking for third as well. What a rocketing start from him. On board with York Schumacher down to the second corner and heading onto the straight to the first of the chicanes here at Zolder. In the slipstream of the Group 2 car, Pim van Riet has the lead. Tim Josen in second place. Our pulser to Sam de Jong in third. Down the inside and way over the chicane. What on earth was going on there? Donald Molenaar, well, he'd come from 16th, the back of the grid, up to 6th, but shot right across the chicane. He's giving places back. Through goes Philippe Leclerc in the green and white car. Doesn't want to let Jörg Schumacher through there, but he might have to. Then the first of the Pragas coming up as well. Well, let's take a look at that. There goes Molenaar, like he's forgotten the chicane's even there. And when he hits the brakes, whoa, somehow finds a gap. That could have been a very big shunt indeed. Another close call, hard to see, but Pim van Riet goes straight on here on the left of your screen into the runoff road at Hospital Corner. Sam de Jong takes the inside line as Tim Josen also skates wide. And de Jong takes the lead. He now leads from Josen. Donald Molenaar third. Green and white Norma Philippe de Klerk in fourth. But Jörg Schumacher squeezes by him and de Klerk has to take a little bit of avoiding action there. The blue car, James Abbott, 2 laps down. Battle for second coming up behind him. Those 3 cars, nose to tail, won't want to be held up. Josen, Molenaar and Schumacher. On the back of the queue is Schumacher. Despite the fact that that blue radical is going quickly, James Abbott is going to do the decent thing and let them go by. Down into Eerste Linkse. Jörg Schumacher takes third place. Well, Sam de Jong still trying to beat his fastest lap time, but with more fuel on board for the 60-minute race, that's proving harder. Pim van Riet in the red car, recovering from his braking problems, takes fourth place. Tim Josen with better aerodynamics holds on around the outside though, but the radical with more grunt is going to try and cut back. It was a battle of 2 very different cars, and it continues for a number of laps. Eventually, Pim van Riet will triumph. He gets by in the radical to take fourth place. Jörg Schumacher with a big lead over that battle behind, but spins as he runs out of road on the exit of the corner, just misjudging the braking. Stalls the engine, that costs him third place. Pim van Riet goes by. Fourth place, Tim Josen goes by, and now he is trying to counter-attack all over again. Here we go, dives to the inside, tighter line into Hospital Corner, better exit, looks left, looks right. Now, can he take the place back? This time he judges it very nicely, he's back up to fourth, but runs wide on the exit and loses it all again. Fantastic battle between these two, Jörg Schumacher throwing everything he can at Tim Josen. Once more, Schumacher closing in from behind. This Wolf with good top-end speed. And again, Josen skating through the middle of the corner as we saw when he lost what was second, became the lead. Schumacher passed him earlier this time. Can he get the job done? Josen is right there on the inside. And they are wheel to wheel, but Josen just gets his nose in front. Schumacher being very circumspect on the dirt, loses a lot of time, trying to attack too hard. Mandatory pit stops midway through the race. Sam de Jong brings the car in to Luc de Kock. I think my start, my stint were okay, said Sam, but in the previous race I started to struggle a bit in the slower corners near the end. And that problem's here again. Not enough time between the races to fix it, so we need to find a solution on a test, maybe compare the data. Hopefully we can solve it this year, because you have to be very cautious in the slow corners. In the high-speed stuff, car's great. Overall, it's still good enough to take the lead, so hopefully Luke can keep it there. Well, Donald Molenaar already moved up to second, although with 15 result seconds added to his mandatory pit stop, he closed the gap to Luc de Kock and puts on a daring move down the hill towards the Villeneuve chicane. Well, Molenaar, brave as he like, sweeps inside and then outside to take the lead, but he is soon back in the pit lane. He's been handed a drive-through penalty. The team's pit stop apparently 1/10 of a second too short, and that will drop him back into second spot. Well, that penalty gives Luc de Kock plenty of breathing space. He races on to victory. Good news for him and Sam de Jong. They scored very few points in Zandvoort. That will boost their championship chances. After his drive-through, Donald Molenaar had a deflating rear tyre and Thierry van Splunteren to cope with. Van Splunteren right behind all the way to the line, but Molenaar hanging on to second. Schumacher and Van Splunteren taking third despite Schumacher's off-track excursions earlier in the race. But the happiest man of the bunch, Luc de Kock, after all the hard work his team has put into the car.
Het was eigenlijk toch wel eens nodig, ja.
Bad time. Think we did a perfect job, he said. The car was perfect this time. We decided our strategy beforehand, stuck to our guns, and the result was good. The Radical SR8 used to be the front-running car in Group 1, but the CM prototypes now appear to be the cars to beat. Radical's new car can't come on song soon enough. Schumacher and Van Splunteren lead by 3 from de Kock and de Jonge after the first 4 races of the season. Philippe de Klerk again on the Group 2 class pole. This time though, Carlo Kaya is right with him in the Praga R1. Dives to the inside at the Jackie chicane for the lead of Group 2. The Norma's got more horsepower, but less grip. And as de Klerk tries to counter-attack down into Eerste that shows. He catches on the straight, but the Praga holds its line around the outside despite a little bit of contact and a trip over the curbs. Carlo Kaya hangs on to the lead of the race, and as those two battle, soon Vibo Rademacher is joining in his SR3 RSX, giving de Klerk a tough time for second. Early on, Wim Juris in the purple Radical SR3 holds off Paul Celius in his Praga R1, who was second in race 1. But once the tyres are properly hot, he sets fastest lap and moves up to second place. No luck for the race leader, a gearbox reset required. Noel Kohler takes over from Carlo Kayas, who suffered the same problem. Despite not being the fastest on track, de Klerk's the most consistent. And even when Celius has warm tyres, he can't stop de Klerk winning his 3rd race of the season.
Ik heb dat vrij goed in de hand. Ik kan dat redelijk snel goed controleren.
Well, I'm pretty good at doing clean and fast opening laps, says de Klerk. By staying out of trouble, I can be very quick at the beginning of the race and still save my tyres. So at the start, I can open up a gap. Competition's usually a bit slower in the opening stages, and that's what makes the difference. Those are my tactics. Start fast, consolidate after that, and so far, it's been working out really well. Well, it certainly has. And Philippe de Klerk leads the championship from Paul Celius and Vibo Rademacher, the Norma on the top of the pile, nearly 10 points clear. So that's it. In the past 3 weeks on Motors TV, we've shown you all divisions of the Supercar Challenge powered by Pirelli, with exciting battles in the GT classes, in sport, and in the Superlights from Zolder. Next time out, they're at Spa-Francorchamps, but they'll be back at Zolder on the 20th and 21st of June for the Cintiq Super Prix. See the cars up close in the paddock, meet the drivers, and enjoy an action-packed weekend of racing from Supercar Challenge, the Superlights, the Clio Cup Benelux, Boss GP, and much, much more. For tickets, go to zoldersuperprix.be. Until the next time, it's goodbye from Zolder. The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Cintiq's innovative lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, and IDIS high-definition surveillance systems.